Let's look in a little bit more detail at the two caching technologies used by Memorystore, Memcached and Redis. First, let's look at Redis and the Redis tiers, basic tier and standard tier. Beginning with the basic tier on the left, the basic tier is designed to be cost-effective, making it a budget-friendly choice for caching needs. It's also easy to set up, so it's a good option if you're looking to implement caching without too much configuration overhead. There are some trade-offs to keep in mind though. It does not support high availability or failover protection, which means that if there's an issue, there could be downtime or data unavailability. And in contrast, moving over to standard tier on the right, this option is more expensive. It requires more configuration, so these are potential downsides. But configuration also means more customization, so that could be a plus. It does, however, provide high availability with automatic failover protection. This means that if something goes wrong, there are mechanisms in place to ensure continuity and that your data is still available, making it a better choice for applications where uptime is critical. So it's a more resilient option, but it's also one that comes at a higher cost and complexity. On this slide, we're comparing Memcached and Redis across different categories: automatic scaling, availability and failover, data structure support, persistent storage, performance, and use cases. So let's go through each one and see how Memcached and Redis differ in these areas. Starting with automatic scaling, Memcached is designed to support automatic scaling, meaning that it can expand or reduce based on demand, which makes it well suited for highly scalable environments or fluctuating workloads. Redis, in contrast, does not offer built-in automatic scaling, so you need it to, if you need it to handle large fluctuating loads, then you would need to either be on top of the custom configurations or consider another approach. Next is high availability and failover. Memcached does not offer built-in availability or failover, which limits its resilience in environments where uptime is critical. Redis, however, does offer high availability and failover in the standard tier, allowing it to handle server failures more gracefully. Then we have data structure support. Memcached is limited to a basic key value store, whereas Redis supports a greater variety of data structures. So it can manage more complex caching tasks and use cases potentially. And for persistent storage, Memcached operates purely in memory. So data is lost upon server restarts. It's best suited for transient caching tasks where data persistence is not required. Redis does offer the option to persist the data to the disk, and that can be valuable for applications needing cache data to survive between sessions. And then moving on to performance, Memcached is optimized for speed and simplicity in key value access, making it slightly faster in some scenarios. Redis, while also high performing, may have a bit more latency due to its additional features, but it is still highly efficient. And then in terms of use cases, Memcached is just typically preferred for simpler tasks like session storage or database query caching. Redis, because it has more advanced features, is better suited for more complex use cases such as leaderboards, real-time visualization, message queuing, that kind of thing. All right, I hope that gives you a better idea of the differences between them. You may have to choose between one or the other on the exam. That's a bit about Redis and Memcached.